Welcome to Real Time, Florida Sportsman. This week we're up in Big Bend, fishing Crystal River. It's time to find the shortest route to the hottest bite. We scan Florida Sportsman's regional forums for the best fishing reports, then travel to make real anglers our local guides.
Give me some of that!
Together we let you in on secret spots and hometown moves.
That's what I'm talking about!
Oh yeah, she's done for now.
This week I headed to the spring-fed waters of Crystal River. I teamed up with Big Bend Forum member Justin Whaley and explored everything above water and below. As crazy as this is, a little bass and a little red. All coming up on Real Time, Florida Sportsman. The trip started with meeting on the docks at the plantation on Crystal River with this week's guest host, Justin Whaley, aka Angler Bros. We're right about mid-December. It's pretty chilly out first thing in the morning, but we have high hopes leaving the dock. Crystal River is about 10 miles north of Homosassa, and it's in what's referred to as the nature's coast, and rightfully so. It has natural freshwater springs, and it's known for its scalloping, its crystal clear springs that a lot of people dive on with manatees, and also its fishing. All right, here we are, Justin Whaley, aka Angler Bros in the Big Bend region. Where are we exactly?
Oh, we're on Crystal River, up in the Kings Bay area. Kings Bay is right in this region.
This is a pretty neat area. I mean, this is, a lot of diversity. You say we're going to start out first thing this morning by targeting what? What's our first target this morning?
We're looking for snook first, and then later we'll go for the bass. But we could pick up the bass anywhere in the river because this is all freshwater and saltwater.
And it's amazing, 42 degrees out. You don't think of snook fishing when it's 42 degrees out. But you have these springs, the water's warm, you're still going to eat.
Yeah, we could catch anything today.
One of the first spots that Justin wants to fish is a little residential cove or a canal. And typically when you get further up these canal systems, I'm used to dirtier water, but these things are actually fed from natural aquifers and pretty much fresh water. Not only do they hold bass, but they hold snook and redfish. So we're just going to start out by beating up on these docks, just motoring along, working the structure. It's funny, you know where you go when you're snook fishing, it's structure.
Yeah.
East coast, west coast, north, south. You're looking for that heavy structure, they love it. So how far are we from the salt water?
Well, I would say the river has got to be a few miles long. I mean, I wouldn't have an exact length, but I'm sure we're about 6 to 7 miles away from the ocean.
And this is just getting fed from a natural spring, so there's just fresh water pouring out of here. That's why those bass are in here.
There's pretty much a spring in almost every canal up here. You just got to find them.
This is a really rare ecosystem where you can have this fresh water that converges with the salt water of the Gulf. And that's taking place because of these naturally fed springs. You have fresh water pouring out of these springs, which allows the bass to be here, but also because of the proximity to the Gulf and the salt water, you have redfish, snook, and snapper.
That's a bass.
There we go.
That's snook, actually.
Oh, a little snook.
Yeah, that's snook. See, they're out in the middle normally. Yeah, that's the average size for these snook.
Oh, man.
That's the start to the slam that I wanted.
That's the average size?
Yeah.
Oh, you said you get them 20 pounds also.
Yeah, they'll be big in the springs. God. But they school up in these little coves this size.
Great little fish.
Yeah.
I got something.
A redfish.
Talk about some diversity, little guys. What a cool fisher. There you go, buddy.
It's pretty cool.
Now I'm in the zone. I'm on to the redfish. I'm using a little jig head, a little heavier, getting to the bottom. Justin's fishing it weedless, just a worm hook, but I'm finding them. I'm on the reds. God, it feels like another red. That feels like a better fish. A little better red.
No, that's a nice red. Yeah, still only about 16 in.
God, in the same cove where you're catching bass and snook and reds, just bouncing the bottom with that jig, that gulp. I'm sure it's just loaded in there because I put it back in that same hole and caught another one.
There's one.
Got one now too? Look at this. As crazy as this is.
There's a fat little guy.
A little bass and a little red. Completely fresh water. That's funny, using the same exact bait, 5-inch jerk shad, gulp jerk shad. catching bass and catching reds and snook. Real simple, 30-pound Berkeley fluorocarbon, Berkeley 1/8 ounce jig head, and just a gulp 5-inch pearl white jerk shad. And I tell you, everything, as you can see, eats these jerk shads. So we're staying at the plantation. The goal today is they're gonna cook our catch tonight. So they said, bring them back some food. Maybe this will be the one.
Yeah, another little red.
Another red, I feel like.
Yeah.
How big did it have to be on this side?
18.
I just keep getting them like 17
Wow.
and a half. He doesn't want to make it to the dinner table. That one might. Just bouncing the bottom, you know, bottom feeders. They're sitting down there like that. And catching one after the other.
This segment is brought to you by Trocar Hooks. The rules have changed.
You know, this area is so beautiful and unique. It's several hours away from my home, but you know, we're used to fishing in more of urban areas, and this place looks like a totally different world, like a different state. You're back in these spring-fed canals, you know, you got these young boys out fishing. You know, this is what life's about.
This is the winter low tide, probably.
It's winter low.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the tidal swing. You can see over here the difference in water depth, and that's 4-foot tidal difference. We're on a big moon right now, and the winter tides are a little stronger, obviously. That's a lot of variance there. So we left the canal, headed over to Justin's trout spot, and I'm pretty excited. You know, we just need that one more fish to complete the slam. He says it's almost a guarantee at this spot. New spot.
Yeah, hopefully we can pick up a few trout here to finish our slam.
A little deeper water.
Yeah.
So in the wintertime here, these trout are sitting in these deep holes, huh?
Yeah, they'll come up the rivers and find anywhere to stay warm.
It's like 19, 20 feet deep right here, and
Yeah.
bouncing these holes. So this Gulf, you know, it's so shallow out here. That's why you have probably those great scallop grounds.
Yeah.
And we came up here last year and did a show scalloping. Yeah, it was so neat to see. And also, they have a great tarpon fisher. I know that world record on fly came up from Homosassa. It's pretty wild.
Tarpon are usually around the islands and stuff out of Crystal River. But you got very shallow water. I mean, if you wanted to go offshore, it's only about a foot every mile until you really get out there.
Long runs.
You could go 20 miles out and you're only being 30 foot of water.
So we're working this area pretty hard, you know, catching some little snapper. There's a cormorant that will not leave us alone, but I don't know, this is not the trout spot that he said it's gonna be. So now we're heading out to the Gulf, on the outside as they referred to it, and it pretty much seems just like the inside. It's so shallow, there's these grass flats that extend for actually miles. So we moved out here pretty much at the mouth, right at the Crystal River. The tide changed, got some water moving in, find these trout out here. Is year-round you find them out here?
Normally I try to catch them in here around the winter time, about this time of year, because they start moving in for warmer water when we get these cold fronts. And we're about 63 degrees in here versus 58 out there. And the trout don't go as far upriver as the reds and snook would. So I figured might be a couple in here.
Not as tolerant to that fresh water. You know, further up you get this river, the salinity drops, and the snook and reds don't mind it, but the trout don't like it. So we're drifting the oyster beds, and finally I get the bite that I'm looking for. I get the trout.
Yes, that's a trout.
Get him coming in. That's a good trout too. My undersized slam, but the boat got one. Nice. God, he ate that gulp too, boy.
He inhaled it. He's probably almost like you.
I got an inshore Big Bend slam. Not a slot slam, but undersized slam, all on the same exact bait. That's pretty funny, and not far apart.
I love Berkeley's.
Little male, he's grunting. So we drifted around some more and caught a couple more fish, but now the tide is flowing in good. Justin wants to make the move, continue to head back upriver. We're gonna hit that spot where the cormorant was. Tide's changed. Kind of get some trout and some reds through here.
Yeah, hopefully we can get more fish here than we did this morning.
Yeah, they weren't chewing this morning, but maybe they'll chew now. So I don't know why we weren't getting bit before, but all of a sudden now we're getting the bites.
That's a red.
Red, yeah, I think it's just what I had was a red.
Yeah, it's probably exactly what
Look at that tail on that thing. Look at the color.
It was like my first cast with this new lure.
Change colors over?
Yeah.
We just switched it up. The white wasn't working. This seems to be the color they want right now.
This one.
Let it be 18. Let it be 18.
This would be a keeper red. Yeah, that's a keeper. If it's a red, it's a keeper. Oh yeah.
Take and drag.
Yes, nice one. There you go.
Oh my goodness. That is a good one right there.
Yeah. Wow. 20 foot of water. Redfish.
The funny thing is, you change colors over in 2 casts, you caught 2 fish.
2 reds.
I think I'm switching.
Nice red.
That's a bigger slot fish there, you know. That's definitely
It's probably 23.
bigger one of the day. Right on the bottom, you know, feeding that deeper water. Tide came in. We hit this spot earlier today when the tide was falling. Didn't do anything really, just some snapper bites. Came back in here when the tide switched over and started catching these guys.
This segment is brought to you by Spider Wire. Nothing gets away.
So we have the slam, we've upgraded our redfish. Justin tells me he's got a spot with some bigger snook. We decided to give it a shot. Switched it up again, looking at the snook spot now, he says, so.
Yeah.
Another little drop off for fishing on the channel edge. Bouncing the gulps on the bottom. You know, I think of snook, I think further south down the coast. You know, I'm really surprised when you told me you were getting them here and I saw your post that you're catching them up this far. Is year round you can get them?
Yeah, pretty much. They stay in this river, they just move back and forth. They'll stay in the deeper water.
It's amazing for as far north as it is. You know, it was in the 40s this morning, 42. But the water was, you know, 20, 30 degrees warmer because of these springs. And I guess that's just the reason why year round they can be here.
Yeah.
Any other type of situation with that cold of wind, you know, air, and the water just wouldn't stay that warm. So this spot Justin takes me to looks so familiar. This is what I know. Heavy structure area, fishing docks for snook.
That's a snook. Yep, there it is. Yeah, it's a decent fish right there.
Better?
Heck yeah.
How cool is that? God, this place is so neat. Freezing cold. It's a little better one. Look at that heavy structure area. Such a common denominator for these fish. A little school of minnows in there. He ate that chartreuse and new penny. God, neat. There he goes. If you ever want to know where to find the snook, heavier the structure, the better. It's crazy. They just love being in there. Holds the bait, safe from porpoises.
Oh,
Oh, come on out of there.
that looked like a red. That's a nice snook. There he is.
I cast as far back up there as I could get.
Wow.
We went from bass, redfish, trout, snook. There's everything up here. Great fishery. There's a ton of manatees in here, and obviously probably the wintertime they're here because it's just constant water temperature, you know, 72 degrees coming out of these springs. They love it. That's why the snook are here too. Look at the manatees right below my snook. Crazy as that. These manatees swam by and the snook ate. So it had been a full day. We caught plenty of fish. We decided to make the short run back to where we were staying. The plantation at Crystal River is right in the heart of everything. It's a great location right on the water. We got cleaned up and had a great dinner at their restaurant, West 82 Bar and Grill. Not only does this place have great accommodations, it's extremely boater friendly. It has its own boat ramp, you know, has dockage, and it has its own dive shop.
This segment brought to you by Yo Zuri, fish the best.
This week we're in Crystal River. This is a great destination for your family as a vacation. Not only as a hardcore fishing destination, but just as a casual, come and snorkel, kick back, have a great time with the family. But one thing you have to be concerned about is the navigation here. This is hard bottom. It's not like a lot of other places with a soft bottom. If you get out of navigational zone, you can end up in some trouble. A couple things that you may want to do coming to a new destination. If you're going to be in town for a week or so, why not go ahead the first day and hire a licensed captain? That can help flatten out the learning curve for you. You can easily, quickly learn the waters and keep yourself out of trouble. Another thing is the use of navigational charts. Be it your Raymarine or a paper chart, the best thing to do is to go over those charts and really get a feel of the water. You can take it to a local dive shop, a local fishing tackle store, and they can help show you areas to stay out of. Lastly, what you want to do is probably just take your time. Good use of polarized glasses, trimming your motor up. If you have a jack plate, run your jack plate up, and just taking your time getting out to these destinations. Really follow the navigational markers, and you can keep yourself out of lots of trouble. Catching as much fish as we did the day before and seeing how much this place has to offer, we decided to switch gears and meet at the dive shop the next morning.
Getting fitted for the snorkeling gear.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're getting suited up, gonna visit the springs and play with the manatees. Of course, we had to watch our mandatory manatee safety course, get all our gear, and then we headed out in the Trout.
Don't poke or prod manatees.
All right, morning day 2. We had such a good time fishing yesterday. We caught plenty of fish. Kind of completed our inshore slam. We're gonna mix it up a little bit today. We're gonna see what all this buzz is about. This whole town goes crazy over this diving on these springs, so we decided just to totally change gears. Got some dive gear from the shop. Go check out the manatees.
Yeah, sounds fun.
I'm kind of excited. Crystal clear water, snook, tarpon that's there in these springs. Our first spring, it's 8 in the morning, the place is already got some boats set up in it.
Yeah, the manatees are already showing up.
Oh yeah. 42 degrees out for some reason.
I don't even want to take my jacket off.
I'm taking my jacket off and putting a wetsuit on.
Yeah, I guess.
The water's 70. So the water's almost 30 degrees warmer than the air, so the transition to wetsuit's gonna be the worst part, but once we get in, it should be fine.
Yeah.
Let's do it. The first spring's out in the middle of Kings Bay, kind of open water. Getting in the water, I expect it to be a little cleaner, but it's kind of dirty. I swim in, the next thing you know, I'm surrounded by manatees. So now I'm swimming around, and I've taken the safety course, so I know you're not supposed to approach these things or harass them, but the next thing you know, I'm being sexually harassed by a manatee. All right, so one found me, one likes me. I don't want to be aggressive, I don't want to push away, I don't want to upset the manatees, but 10 minutes later, this thing won't let me go. Finally, I said my goodbyes to that manatee. It was time for the breakup. I made my way back to the boat and we decided to head over to another spring. So we're heading up to Three Sisters?
Yeah, Three Sisters. There's 3 sets of spring. You gotta swim through this little, kind of like a tunnel that goes back in there, and then it opens up and there'll be a spring to our right, and then there'll be one farther back that's deeper, and then there'll be another one to our left. And we'll just swim to all of them. The water's a lot clearer up in here.
Man, this water is gin clear in here.
Yeah.
It's gonna be neat here. Coming into this next spring called Three Sisters, this is what I pictured, this is what I imagined. You could just see crystal clear water just flowing out of this canal system. In all seriousness now, I'm pretty excited. I didn't think I would be, but we pull up into this area and you can just see this little, little slough back where the spring is. We drop the power pole, get the gear on, and I can't wait to get in the water. So you swim back down this creek and you get to this opening where there's these 3 natural springs, and it's so unique. It's the first time I've ever seen something like this. You swim down to the bottom, there's just a small hole down there that's just pouring out warm water. Now, meanwhile, the air temperature's in the 40s, but this is a constant 72 degree of water that's pouring out of this hole. So we're not the only ones that like this area. There's bass in there, there's shell crackers, there's brim, there's snapper, and of course, there's lots of manatees. I'll tell you, that was something neat to see.
Yeah.
Between the bass and the snapper and the crystal clear water, those manatee. You know, the fishing here yesterday with the snook, the trout, the reds, and even the bass as well. I mean, it has that to offer. It has this diving, these springs, the scalloping in the summertime. I can see why they call this place the Nature's Coast.
Yeah, all year long there's something to do here.
It's a great destination.
A lot of stuff to see, a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, it's definitely a great place. You know, this isn't the first trip to this area. Actually, last year we took a trip up here and did the scalloping. In the summertime, this place gets packed with people that do this. And scalloping is really what this area is known for. They have these vast grass flats that just extend for miles out into the Gulf. And in the summertime, people just love to come and chase after these things. Justin Whaley, aka Angler Bros from the Big Bend region of the Florida Sportsman Forum, showed me that Crystal River has a lot to offer. Not only for hardcore fishing, but for a great family getaway as well. Be it for the natural springs and diving with manatees or chasing scallops out in the Gulf, this nature coast is truly a unique location. If it wasn't for Justin's post, I wouldn't have chose him to fish with. I need your reports to continue, because I may fish with you next on Real Time Florida Sportsman.
What the heck?
Nice.
It's another red. Yep, it's a red.
Gee, you land right on top of him or what? Thing wouldn't leave me alone.
Yeah, they follow you around too.
I didn't want to kick to get away from him. He was holding on to me with the flippers around my leg.
Yeah, very gentle.
That's pretty wild. First time for that.